everybody to the WIBIC Cooking Up Business Series. We've held these in 2021, highlighting entrepreneurs and business owners who are in the food and beverage business, who often have had a long-standing history and love of food and the industry itself, or some of them who actually happenstance got into becoming an entrepreneur in the food and beverage business and have ended up running a business. So today we have Huma Siddiqui Sites, who I've known for a long time. And I think I've known you for over 15 years, maybe even 20. Yeah, that long. And as I said to her before, and we both still look good. So there you go. There you go. But I've known Huma, just, wonderful, wonderful story, wonderful human being that I've gotten to know a little bit throughout the years. And certainly her passion for food, her experience in cooking and food, the use of spices like you cannot believe, the publishing of a cookbook, which I have and have gifted many, many individuals copies of this beautiful cookbook. I personally really do love Indian cooking. My sister studied at India in Pune, and that's probably where I really got even a greater understanding of some of the Indian cooking, which again is like people say, food from the United States or food from Mexico or food from India. Oh my gosh, thousands of different kinds of foods and so on. So we don't want to group it by any means, but you'll share a little bit your experience with some of the cooking, from India, the region, that area. So first, what we'd like to start out with is hearing a little bit about who you are, Huma, how you even came to the United States. I remember you sharing this story a long time ago at Loan Committee when you applied for a loan with WIBIC, but a little bit about what you'd like to share as a person, as an individual, and also how that really relates to just the love of food and cooking and spices and all of that.
Hi, Wendy. That was quite an introduction. Thank you for that. And it has been quite a while since I've seen you, and we both look good. That's great. That's great news after that many years. And I'm originally from Pakistan, grew up there on the northern side of Pakistan, and then got married, left home, and went to North Africa for a few years, lived there, and then moved to England and lived about 11 years in London, and then moved to Wisconsin. So there's quite a bit of a culture shock there. But Wisconsin actually feels like home now, and I'm very happy about that. Apart from the winters, it's all good. We kind of have learned to enjoy the winters as well as part of life. But other than that, I feel a big part of the community, and I just absolutely love it. Now, love for the food. I grew up with a lot of my aunts and uncles and cousins. So at every event, there's always going to be a lot of food, like any other family. So I grew up with that. Once I moved away from home, I realized that, sometimes when you know something that feels good, you want to always recreate it. So when I left home and I was in North Africa, I wanted to recreate that. I wanted that feeling back of having a lot of food, having a lot of people around. And that's our dining table. Growing up was always, there will always be some people around at dinner time or tea time. So I started doing that and learned a lot on the way with different cultures. Living in, I was living in actually Libya, Tripoli, Libya at the time. So the Mediterranean culture, Mediterranean food. And then I went to London, and sort of London is more, all about curries. So English food is a little bland, I have to say. But anyway,
no. Let's comment about that again. My mother studied in London. I've been to London many times, and besides fish and chips that I love, a lot of bland foods. I mean, the mushy peas, all of that. And I mentioned in the beginning part about India. Again, I remember that you're from Pakistan and stuff. Some similarities in foods, but not exactly. Yeah. And it's interesting because people always say when you go to London, you can get some of the best Indian food like in the world there too. So it's really interesting. And I've had Indian food in small itty bitty little towns outside of London, and it is fabulous. Yeah.
Oh, yes. I mean, I never felt homesick when I was in London because every corner there's a curry house and you can buy all the spices and everything else. And, India and Pakistan, as you mentioned, were similar because they used to be the same country a long time ago, and then they divided because of the religious beliefs. So I grew up in Pakistan. Some of my cousins grew up in India.
Okay.
So, our family was also divided. But anyway, so the combination of both, my parents actually grew up in India, so they brought their flavors, and that's how I learned how to cook. Moving to Wisconsin was a bit of a challenge because we didn't have spices to buy anywhere. I always tease my friends about what, how do you live? You don't have any spices. How can you cook?
Yeah,
And they always
yeah.
say, oh, we have spices. Like what? Salt and pepper? Well, that's not a spice. so,
That's good. That's good. Yeah.
so anyway, once my kids grew up, I was waiting for my son to graduate from high school, and I thought I'm going to start teaching cooking classes and see if anybody's interested in them. And that's how my business kind of grew. And kind of found out about Vivek, and I wanted to launch my spice line. And at that time, it was very helpful for Vivek to kind of support that. And it was a time for my business to grow. I never intended to start it as a business. I intended to have fun, but you can have a business and have fun.
Right.
That's
Right.
a good
Because if I
combination.
recall, you're an accountant, a CPA by trade.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So again, just sort of interesting that whole piece. And we found a couple other entrepreneurs we had in the cooking show this year that really, again, just sort of fell into it. Or again, like, wow, I can't find this. I feel I have to start almost a business in this because we don't have
Right.
it here, you know?
Exactly. So that's what happened. And then I thought, well, we live in the dairyland in Wisconsin. So I would like to launch a line of Gouda cheeses with my spices in them. And that's how I kind of started this, kind of cilantro Gouda and tandoori Gouda. These all have my spices in them. And we've been pretty successful in kind of marketing those and
So
bringing
you
those flavors
started,
to
if I
people.
remember, you started with spices and then you moved in later to the spices really in the cheese.
Right.
Correct?
Yes.
Okay. And right now, I mean, you are in business and people can
Mhm.
buy your spices and cheese. We want to, talk about
Absolutely.
that a little bit too.
Yep, and we this holiday season we sold a lot of these gift baskets with all the four cheeses and our crackers from Potter's Crackers, which is a local business as well. So
Beautiful.
we just ended up selling a lot of those baskets last year and this year. So it has been pretty good. And I
Great.
just wanted people to kind of start to taste some flavor.
Right. Right.
And maybe we did our cheeses as well to graduate to a little bit more spicy. Start with a little, milder, and then go upwards.
Yeah.
So
And where can they buy the cheeses right now or the gift packets? You have a
on our
website
website.
or does it also, do different stores carry them? Talk a little bit about that.
Sure. In Madison, we have them at all the three Woodman stores that people can purchase, and also on our website. So gift baskets are on our website.
On your website. Good. And we'll make sure for the viewing audience to give that link later to try, because I think
Sure.
some of those cheeses infused with some spices in a different way really are lovely. And also, they're beautiful colors. They make a cheese plate, something different as opposed to your classic brie, camembert, cheddar, and,
Right.
manchego. So,
Right. Absolutely. And I mean, love for food. I continue to develop new recipes, and also due to pandemic, I've been doing virtual classes.
okay.
So that has been pretty successful because people can cook with me and they can get our spices from our website. And I also partner with a lot of local libraries and they can go and pick up those spices from there and actually cook with me. And that has been a
Good.
lot of fun.
Good. Tell us how in the early years Wibbick helped you out with sort of maybe a business plan. I know we provided a loan to you. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, it was very helpful with the business plan, also with the kind of the finance backing with that. And we got the loan from Vivek as well, which helped tremendously to kind of grow our distribution. And now we are in Minnesota. We distribute our cheeses there. So it was very helpful, and also just the oversight of things. With you have a great team of people who really help and kind of help the new entrepreneurs with all their different ideas.
Yeah.
Because I do feel that one brain can only think so much.
Yeah.
If you have a team behind you,
Right.
actually
Yeah.
looking and thinking
Yeah.
through it, it's very, very
Yeah.
helpful.
Because there were
Do you
some
guys
bumps
do
along
that?
the road, definitely. And I think you still have, a great future with even greater distribution of the cheese or the spices or what have you. I
Yeah,
think the world has actually, because of COVID, the health crisis and economic crisis, has woken up to cooking a little bit more, I think.
very
And,
much.
I can do this too. I mean, partly because for a while nobody could go out. And so the people that
Right.
didn't know how to cook, they either were going to starve or they had to do something. But I think a lot of people, okay, I'm hunkering down at home. I'm with the family now. Let me pick some things up. Let me do some
Mhm.
cooking and trying different things. And I think the world has opened up so much more too, in terms of just different foods, fusion, all of that, not just same old, hamburgers, hot dogs kind of thing.
Oh, absolutely. And I think because of pandemic, one of the things that people have gotten used to going online and shopping there as well. Instead of
Yes,
always thinking about going to the store. So I think
right,
it's been a paradigm shift,
right.
basically,
Yep,
because of that. So virtual
yep.
business, virtual classes all have become a little bit more common.
Yeah, I agree. And with food, I think a lot. I mean, many people talked about that. I order the food. I'm still, I don't know. I got to touch the apple. I just can't quite order that apple online. Yeah, unless it's a really fancy apple from a fancy place. I'm still a toucher, but I do appreciate that. And some people out of necessity had to do it, but definitely with more the high end foods and the spices, I think that's great. Okay, well, let's cook something, Huma. What are you going to cook?
All right. I wanted to make a grilled cheese sandwich. This has been an award winning. We participated in a couple of grilled cheese championships
Okay.
and got a couple of trophies, which I'm very excited about.
Wow, fantastic. Actually, it's one of my favorites. I always say I'm a cheap date because I love grilled cheese and I love tuna fish sandwiches.
Oh, it's fantastic. And let me just get this oven going. I need to get this stove ready.
Take your time.
This is my little stove that I usually carry around.
I have one exactly like that, I think, that runs with the canister.
Yeah, it is so much easier. There.
There you go. Yeah.
Let me start. And today I'm going to use this Gouda, very thinly sliced, this cumin Gouda with whole cumin seeds and some chili flakes in it, and really thin slices of Gala apples. And this has been the combination where we won a couple of championships. So I'm
Okay.
excited, and especially weather like this in winter in Wisconsin. I mean, what else can you do but make a grilled cheese sandwich?
Okay, great. Now, any butter on that bread? Any particular kind of bread?
I'm using the rye bread, but you can
Okay.
use sourdough as well,
Okay,
and
I
it
can see
works
sourdough
really well.
tasting good too. Yeah.
Mhm. And just a little bit of butter. We can't do without butter, right? And on both sides.
I heard a trick that some people do on more traditional grilled cheese is that they use butter, but they also do a layer of mayonnaise to get a
Oh,
real, yeah, to get a real creaminess, which I thought was interesting. I've not made one like that. I don't really make grilled cheese a lot at home, but once in a while I'll order it out, or at the state fair, they always have the good grilled cheese kind of thing.
yep. I mean, you just can't go wrong with grilled cheese, and you just want to make it really crisp.
But yours is going to be a little bit more of a gourmet one with twist on it, so that's nice.
Yeah, we were it's so much fun. They usually now, because of the pandemic, we haven't had that grilled cheese championship. But past maybe 2 years ago, we had a couple of times we entered the competition, and every time we won. And it was really, really fun. And
That's
it's just good
good.
to see, other people how they make their grilled cheese. Then I'm
I
going.
entered one cooking contest, the Sheboygan State Fair, a rhubarb cake, and I got a ribbon. So at least I
Oh,
placed. At least I
nice.
placed. And that's against like all these amazing bakers, because I'm not really a baker. I'm a cook, not a baker. But I thought, oh, I just wanted to do it. And so we did it and got a ribbon. So I was proud of that. Didn't win, but I got a ribbon. I placed. I placed.
Very cool. I mean, you do want to, I mean, it's kind of fun. Even if you don't win, I think it's a
Yeah,
lot of fun to be a part of something.
right. No, cooking's a huge part of my life. I'm going to some friends for New Year's Eve, and I just presented my New Year's Eve menu to them, and I typed it up all real pretty instead of what I was going to bring. So just
So
every
what are
part
you
of it to
bringing?
me is thinking about it. Today I'll purvey the things. I already
Mhm.
got my stock going I'm going to make a Catalan fish stew. So the stock already was made a day ago. So just all the things of cooking, what enjoyment it can be, what a healthy activity, all of that.
Oh, absolutely. And for Christmas, we had my brother and sister-in-law were here from Missouri, my son and daughter-in-law, and I have two grandkids now, and they were all here. And I made this traditional dish from Pakistan. It's actually ground beef, and it's boiled eggs wrapped around it,
Oh, I could see that being wonderful.
and then
Wow.
put in a spicy tomato sauce.
Oof.
And my brother was just so excited. He said he hasn't had this in a long time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he was posting pictures on Facebook, and his friends thought that he was in Pakistan. And he said, "Are you in Pakistan eating all this food?" He said,
Yeah.
"No, I'm in Madison, Wisconsin."
I love it. I love it. How old are the grandchildren?
Um, Colin is going to be 4 in February, and Audrey is 2.
2. Okay, so little.
So
Little.
yeah,
I
but they
have 2
have gotten.
grandchildren too, 12 and 9.
Oh wow, they're older. Yeah, yeah, they're already gotten into food. And Colin was the other day saying, "Yaya, would you make me some samosas?"
Excellent. I love it. Exposure is so important. I have 2 adult daughters, 2 adult sons. 2 of them, well, all of them are good with food, but I'd say 2 of them are more on the foodie side.
Yeah.
And, ask for recipes, really do know how to cook, appreciate it more, a little bit more daring, 2 not as much, but it's the exposure. It's exposure
Oh,
to food and
absolutely.
spices and flavors and all of that. Okay, so you're getting that outside pretty brown and crispy.
Yes. And the butter does that. And I
Yeah,
leave the ends on as well because they get really nice and crispy. So you
so a
can see
couple
both sides
flips. And if you wanted to, you could do this on a Teflon frying pan too, on a regular stove, right?
easily.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, easily. I've done it on another different kind of stove, but then makes it really easy with the flame.
Right. Yeah, it's almost like a griddle or a plancha in Spain, a la plancha. Yeah.
I'm going to switch this off.
And then you keep flipping it a little bit, pressing it down, get that cheese to melt, get that apple to be hot.
All you want is your cheese to really be melty and gooey. And then you can hear the crunch.
Absolutely.
And then we can just serve it. It
Nice.
is pretty hot.
Oh, yeah.
I want to show you the middle of it.
Oh, yeah. Just pulling apart, stringy.
Right. You
Hey,
can see everything is
beautiful.
melted.
I love it. I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. And you could make it, little fancy snacks too, cut it into fingers if you wanted to, stack it up pretty, as even like a snack hors d'oeuvre kind of deal. Nice.
Oh, absolutely. And I do, our cheeses, because it's Gouda, it's very creamy. So what you want to do is always, if you melt it on anything, it's just delicious because it gets really, really nice.
Yep.
It's very creamy.
Yep.
We make,
Yeah. Havarti's a
flatbread,
lovely
cheeses.
cheese.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah,
And
I
this
remember
comes
growing
in
up with Havarti. I like the dill Havarti specifically
Sure.
with dill in it. Yeah, but having your spices, the little bit piquant of the pepper and then the other seeds sounds fabulous.
Yeah, with any kind of fruit, we've used like really thin slices of pears as well with the grilled cheese and
Yeah, I could see the pears being nice in it too, as a little twist to
right.
it. Yeah. Wonderful. Good. Well, thank you for sharing that. Okay, so someone's thinking about distributing spices. Someone's thinking about could they work out something with, getting shelf space. Somebody's thinking about bottling a sauce, what have you. Someone's thinking about writing a cookbook to go
Sure.
along and promote the beauty of their spices and things. What is some advice? What are some do's and don'ts that you've learned over the many years?
One of the things that I've learned is don't right away, when you start a business for distribution, do not go to those trade shows for the distributors. First of all, they're very expensive.
Yeah.
And if you don't have somebody who is promoting you, it is almost impossible to get the distribution into your stand. So
Okay.
do not do that. Probably work with the distributor first, and kind of communicate with them first before you even sign up for their
Right.
or their trade shows, because we learned that the hard way. And,
No, that's good advice. I think people are so excited and they think, oh my gosh, this is gonna be the best thing. I'm gonna pay thousands of dollars for a
Yeah,
space
right.
at the fancy food show. And it's really working through the distributors. Yeah.
Right.
At
So
least
it's
to
because,
start, maybe if something happens really huge later, or if there's a combination, because my dad owned restaurants and retail stores, and I went to many food shows with him, even the
Mhm.
candy shows all over the United States, a lot in Chicago, McCormick Place. And, it was really fun, but I mean, again, very expensive, so on and so forth.
Oh, absolutely. And a lot of distributors, you have to pick and choose. Don't go for the larger ones right away. Go for the smaller ones, because with the larger distributor, they sometimes request like a free fill. Well, with a small business, you can't afford to do free fill, which means
Hmm.
that you send, a few cases of each product for free for them to
Okay.
try it out. And that's not the way you want to go. The best way to, what we have found very successful with our distribution is demos. So store demos,
Okay.
sampling,
Store demos.
samplings for people, because you're introducing your product and you want to directly talk to your customers. So if you are in that store, we have done hundreds and hundreds of demos, and I've done all weekends in Minnesota as well as in Madison. There are several demo companies you can hire if you don't have that much time, and they can do it for you. But you must train them, because for your product, because they do so many different products. So it's very important to take the time to go through your products, everything you can give them to really promote your product,
Okay.
and focus on that.
Good. Good.
And websites, of course, launch a great
Yep.
website.
Especially more and more. I mean, I think when you started your business, the websites weren't as prevalent, but now really, the
Yep.
website and search engines and getting in there, and, maybe even, I mean, do you have a Facebook page or LinkedIn?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's helpful.
Very helpful. So Facebook page, Instagram, Twitter, not so much, but those two are, our main
Okay.
vehicles, and we do get a lot of hits from that.
Good.
And if you can't afford to get a PR company, a marketing company, a local one, then please do so and start with your social media to start to gather some speed.
Good. Excellent. Good. Well, thank you so much. Thanks for catching up. Thanks for making a gourmet, unbelievable, makes me hungry, want to eat grilled cheese sandwich for us. And
My
and your
pleasure.
beautiful cookbook. And we will definitely share then Huma's website, where you can purchase the cheeses, spices, learn more about things. She's done many cooking shows, and is award winning for grilled cheese sandwiches too in Madison. I love it. I love it. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you
My
so much.
pleasure. My
Okay,
pleasure.
take
Thank you for
care.
inviting me.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye bye.